All right, hey guys, my name is Richie Kidwell. I'm the president of the Restoration Association of Florida. We are a nonprofit association for contractors by contractors to help not only this industry with contractors, but also homeowners alike, consumers alike, the folks that we help every day put their home back together or get to pre-loss condition. And so this is a special event today, a town hall meeting. This is our first one that we've sponsored, one of many, hopefully. We know that there are so many hundreds of thousands of claims still outstanding today. Last time we checked, there's about over 700,000 claims filed from Hurricane Ian alone, and half of them have already been closed, paid under deductible. Many of them have been in that situation. So where to go from here if you've been short paid, paid under deductible, or denied from your Hurricane Ian claim? What to do next, who to call, what professionals that are going to be suited for you, and what position you're in today. We've seen other town hall meetings, folks come in at different stages, whether they've had a public adjuster already, do I go to law firm next, what do I do if whatever, this was missing out of my estimate, or doors and windows, storm-induced openings versus this. We're going to talk about that in our panel discussion. We have a licensed professional engineer here. We have a public adjuster. We have an attorney. We have a roofer. We have a mitigation company and a temporary housing expert. So we're going to bring a lot of information to you guys today. So again, once we get to the question and answer part, please participate. Come on up and ask some questions and some great information to you guys. All right, so we'll get started right on it. Oh, first I do want to say, again, we are a nonprofit association. We do have a couple. If you are interested in membership yourself and you're not already a member of our association, Marlon in the back, raise your hand. We got a board member right here. We have a board member over here, Millie. And myself, I'm the president. Just come talk to one of us. We'll help you get some information for the association. And again, we are a nonprofit. Everything is tax deductible. We do a lot of lobbying and PAC funds receivables, so we are 501c6, so we're still able to give a tax deduction to your business. So keep that in mind. Again, this is one of many that we hope to do to bring awareness to consumers and contractors alike here in the state of Florida after the effects of Hurricane Ian.
So I've conducted over 7,000 investigations of property damage in 10 states and the Bahamas. I've seen it all. And a good majority of that, for 7 different engineering firms, I worked for the insurance industry. I learned all their tricks. I may have invented a few tricks, unfortunately, while I was there. But I've had an epiphany. I changed sides. I came across in 2015. I joined the Restoration Association of Florida. I met with Richie. And at this point in my career, my job, and I can answer any questions, I've seen it all, but my job with the Restoration Association of Florida is to bulletproof everybody's product, because sooner or later someone has to explain what happened to a jury. And that's my job at this point in my career. I spend a lot of time talking to attorneys, explaining what went on, because I'm the witness that has to explain what happened to the building at trial. We call it a causation expert, and that's what I do. Now, the other trades come in, and they're very important for estimating the damage. But someone has to explain to the jury what happened, tell the story, and that's my job. And when I work for AQA, I don't manage their engineer. Abby's the engineering manager. But I look at all their product, and I make sure it's going to stand up. And when I look at restoration work, where's the drought log? Where's the mold report? There's things I need to explain to the jury what's going on. So that's kind of where I'm at in my career. I spend a lot of time talking to attorneys, most of them by force, called a subpoena. But I've done over 600 depositions, and I've testified over 50 times at trial. And pretty much there isn't anything I haven't seen. Now, as far as AQA specifically, I've spent a lot of time. AQA is, I didn't have the wherewithal to start a company like AQA. If I did, it would be exactly like AQA. The technicians are They're really, really professional. They're well-trained. I typically follow behind them as an auditor sometimes to make sure what they're seeing is what's in the evidence. But you need companies like AQA, like public adjusters, like roofers. I work with roofers too. Roofers do a really good job explaining things to the insurance company. And that's how we used to do business. A public adjuster, another expert would say, hey, here's the damage, and here's what we think it's going to cost to get these people back to a pre-loss condition. And that's what everybody needs to understand. They always ask me, well, can't you just repair the roof? I go, yeah. You know what my definition of repair is? To return to a pre-loss condition via a Florida Building Code compliant permit. And Florida Building Code don't let you remove half the roofing, right? It's all got to come off. So don't let someone from an insurance company say, oh, your damage isn't that bad. We think we can repair it. Well, the person you talk to ain't never repaired a roof. He's never inspected a roof. He's never designed a roof. It's just some desk adjuster. And if you take it, underpayment, then, you know, you're probably shorting yourself. You need to involve an expert. It doesn't cost anything, right? Just have another set of eyes. And if you've been denied or you received a short payment, let's say below deductible, that denial letter, that underpayment letter, that's the first step in you getting paid. That's step one. You bring that to a company like AQA, a public adjuster, you know, even roofing companies. They can take that and say, let me make a call. Many times, it'll get another look. And on the and I don't want to scare everybody that everything goes to trial. Of the 7,000 investigations, 50 have been to trial. It's because the work we do with the Restoration Association and AQA, we have evidence. We follow certain standards. And when the other side takes on a case and we're on the other side, we're on the insured side, the homeowner side, they know it's going to be a tough battle. And a lot of times they'll give another look. Sometimes they'll write a check if they don't have to talk to me one more time. But you're in a bad situation. Every homeowner in Florida that has damage is in a very difficult situation. I don't want to turn this into a political rally, but the insurance companies have been emboldened by some of the political action that's happened in Tallahassee. And unfortunately, especially this area, this is going to be worse. Do you know they tried to go back in time with the statute to cover Ian and Nicole? Retroactive some of the statutes they're talking about doing. And these statutes are going to be super, super difficult to accommodate. It's not business as usual. Some of the people I'm working with, like AQA, I think we've got it figured out. Is it going to be exactly like it was before? No, but we're on it. We're going to work on it. We're going to restructure. We're going to figure it out. But this is a whole new ball game. Ian's going to be twice as difficult as Michael. 3 times as difficult as Irma to get your fair. When I say fair, what you're due, not what they're willing to pay, what you are due. You have a contract with the insurance industry, your insurance carrier. It's called your policy. I don't know why they call it a policy. Why not just call it a contract? And in that contract, there's certain things they must do. They don't always point that out to you, but someone needs to be looking over what they're doing. And unfortunately, that's what I spend a lot of my time doing.
Hey everyone, so I am attorney Candace Colucci with the Colucci Law Group, and our law firm specializes in representing the property owner against the insurance company when they underpay or deny or just delay the insurance claim. So this is what we do all day, every day before the storm, after the storm, and we are here in Fort Myers. So like Richie was saying, the question is really, what have you guys been doing so far? So our firm rode out the storm in Port Charlotte, so we know exactly what some of these people have been facing as far as the severity of the actual storm and the fear that they had even living through the storm, which a lot of people did. But then afterwards, after we helped with the recovery efforts and making sure everybody was in a safe position, then now we're dealing with the insurance claims. And just like Richie was saying, just like the engineer was saying, is that This storm has been one of the worst we've ever seen with the way the carriers are handling these claims and how severe it's been that they've underpaid so many of them underneath the deductible, which is just egregious in nature. And one of the things we like to always tell everybody is question everything, especially with the association, is that you've got people out there, you've got roofers, public adjusters, attorneys that are all willing to look over what has happened so far and to give you the advice on what you should do now, because unfortunately, the insurance companies are not being honest. And a lot of that has to come to they are overworked. There are so many claims that were filed. And so whether it's intentional or just neglect, they are not handling the claims adequately. They're not responding. And most of them have violated all of the insurance code, the statutes that tell them what their obligations are, which should have been to have paid you or at least given you a payout within 90 days. And we still have people right now that are victims of Hurricane Ian who have not actually had first payments rendered to them, which is egregious in nature. So we want to always tell people that you've got to be questioning everything because people will give you that advice for free. Our firm, other firms that we know will always do free consultations. We'll come out to that property and look at it and to make sure that you were paid adequately. We will do another estimate to make sure, hey, was everything taken care of? We preserve the claim, like we hire people like an engineer to make sure we have all of the reports that were made. One of the biggest things that we see a lot right now is that the insurance company doesn't pay adequately, but you go ahead and get the roof fixed, but you don't have the right documentation. So you have to be really careful and make sure you have the experts working for you, that they've documented your claim adequately, because later on that will be used against you. So we want to make sure everybody is following their policy provisions, that they're not failing to mitigate their damage, that you have tarps or shrink wraps up there, and that you just continuously are fighting back and not just taking what they're saying and then thinking it's really the facts. So that's really what we've been seeing right now. It's pretty horrible right now. I mean, I really think right now it's heartbreaking for a lot of people because we're dealing with a lot of people who have put their life savings into their homes, are paycheck to paycheck, are some of them who can't live in the house and they're paying for additional living expenses that the insurance company has not reimbursed them for. And so all of that stuff combined just adds that insult to injury, but you've got resources out here. That's what we're doing, is providing those resources for you guys. So if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to us, our firm, other firms, anybody that's on this panel here, and get some free advice on what should you be doing, making sure that you're making those right steps, you're protecting your claim, and that you're getting fully paid for your losses so that all of that hard work you put into that home or that property doesn't go to waste and you have to take a loss. So thank you so much. For the Restoration Association of Florida has been a great association that has literally been fighting back for insureds for years when insureds don't even know. So every time we turn around, we're fighting a statute that is going to take advantage of the insureds, and that really is coming from the Restoration Association of Florida and its members. So we are greatly appreciative of that, and for everybody on the panel and the other lawyers and public adjusters and roofers, no matter what they tell you, the roofers are some of the greatest people who are helping. Roofers and contractors, they're the ones who are seeing that you're being underpaid and telling you, hey, this is wrong. This is not enough. You can't get this done. And I could tell you, sure, take it out of your savings or cash in your 401k, but really you should see a public adjuster or an attorney so they can help fight for more money. So we're thankful for all those people also. Thank you, guys.
So first thing about our company, I represent Resolute Roofing. We're a veteran-owned and operated company. About 2.5 miles from here is our main office. We house about 80% veterans or first responders as part of our staff. Some retired, some still active. We actually have firefighters that sell roofs in their off time, which is crazy, and absolutely kill it. Choosing the right roofing company is probably one of the most important things that you can do to start the rehab process. Most other contractors won't step foot inside of the premise until the roof is on. So getting that roof on in a timely fashion is extremely important. And like Candace just said, there are a lot of individuals who don't have the funding necessary to get that started because they got started with a public adjuster or with a good roofing company late in the process, which delays everything. So we were in homes yesterday that still have studs. They don't even have drywall. The house is completely inhabitable. So the first and foremost is choosing a company like ours who's going to be able to get with your insurance companies, distinguish the damage, distinguish the difference between repair and replacement. A lot of insurance companies, like they were saying, they're going to pay for a repair, and they're going to say, just go get the product at the store, not a big deal, it's going to be readily available. That's a lie. Tile runs, color profiles, shingle selects, or shingle color profiles, they're on a limited run basis before they alter their profile. Once they change the color differentiation, the roof's not going to match anymore. This is stuff that the insurance company isn't going to tell you. They're not going to let you know. They're going to let you put up a charcoal on top of a 5-year ago charcoal, and you're going to see that difference with your eyes. You're actually going to devalue the cost of your home. Something that shouldn't happen. So when these companies or insurance companies are giving you a repair at X amount of dollars, you can choose whatever dollar amount you want. Call it hush money, call it go away money. That's the first step. We can get started at that point in time with them actually acknowledging that they are accepting the fact that the roof is damaged, and get that ball rolling through the insurance adjusters at that point in time, or through a public adjuster, or through an attorney if need be, depending upon where we're at in the process, to get it going as quickly as we can. Like Candace said, or he said 90 days is where we should be at. Hopefully that's what a lot of companies are saying, that they're going to be able to get to it in 90 days. And that is our goal. Our goal is to have a roof on your house as quickly as possible, or your dwelling, or whatever residential, commercial property it might be. I lost my notes. Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm getting texts here.
Question, what kind of warranty are you going to get on a roof repair?
No, the roof repair, that's a phenomenal thing. And actually, we had this happen yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. A homeowner, we put on a roof before the storm. Another roofing company just showed up accidentally and started ripping that roof off. They called us up as we're their trusted source, so we went up there, and the warranty question is the one thing that came up. Who's going to pick up that warranty? Because we did 50% of the work, because the other 50% was torn off, or whatever amount, and now they're involved. So the warranty is the biggest thing, and it's the biggest thing to a homeowner and to an insurance company. Nobody is probably going to pick up that repair on a small little patch job. So
new roof stops all leaks.
All leaks.
Every time.
And the leaks are going to be hidden. I can't tell you the number of times that we've been chasing tile leaks, mainly on, that you can't see, so you start here to try to figure it out. Then you start to work your way up. All you're doing at that point in time is you're accruing cost, and that cost is probably going to come initially out of pocket. So until the insurance company knows, because we don't know where that leak is going to end until we find it. So we're actually going to cause destruction to rehab that home. These are all things. And then on that roof, let's just say tile's predominant, always late to the game. The chances of you finding that tile in some boneyard or in somewhere is probably never going to happen. We have extreme difficulties finding this tile. So that comes into position within your insurance company, with your mortgage company, which a lot of people don't think mortgage companies are becoming. They have a vested interest in the value of that home as well. So they're going to want to make sure that it's replaced with exactly what it is that it is to, in this case, if we're talking about Ian, we're going to go to September 27th. That's the date I always give people. That's where we want your home, the day before the storm. However it looked at that point in time, that's our end game goal, to get it back to that condition. And if they're offering a repair, we might have to fight tooth and nail, involving whoever it is that we can to get that roof on. A lot of homeowners, sorry, I'm going through my notes here. A lot of these roofs, and a couple that we came across, they're telling homeowners that this storm, this damage that's on your roof right now, this is not from a hurricane.
Santa Claus in the rain.
Yeah. Honestly, it happens more times during a week than you honestly would, that somebody's actually coming by at this point in the game and saying, no, all that wind damage on your roof, or the fact that all your shingles are now in your neighbor's pool, that didn't happen from the 100 and say whatever mile an hour on September 28th. You can choose whatever number. I've heard a bunch of them. We have to go back in there and provide evidence as to why this was, whether it be pictures that homeowners took from September 27th, which is amazing when these homeowners protected themselves to the way that they went around their house, and they took pre-existing conditions before the storm so that we can fight for them and go back to the insurance companies and say, hey,
I
no,
never get
sir.
involved in cases where someone documented the pre-existing condition.
Yeah.
Those they pay.
Yeah.
They pay correctly.
So, and he's right. Anything that homeowners can do to protect themselves before a storm is definitely going to make that process a little more seamless than it is and that it's currently being. Insurance homeowners getting a hold of their desk adjusters right now. If I could just go through my list from yesterday and the amount of voicemails we just leave with these insurance adjusters with no return phone calls, it is 80 to 90% of the phone calls go directly to voicemail at this point in time with no. I'm a homeowner, and I always put myself as a homeowner first when I'm at a homeowner's home or that is a customer, and that holds true for me as a homeowner on my own claim. I was underpaid. I was can't get a hold of my desk adjuster, can't add anything to my claim. It's a nightmare personally. So the fact, I think somebody said 700,000 claims is what Ian's produced to this far. I take this thing from Marco Island to Daytona. So I think that there might be a little bit more than a total of that, but we have claims all the way into Orlando, as far as Marco Island, Everglades City, Spring Hill, of course, Port Charlotte, Fort Myers, Lee County, all these areas that are heavily affected here. So our company reaches out to those areas. We are a preferred vendor with numerous insurance companies. And even during that phase, in the initial phase, all of those companies, all the insurance companies, they turned off initially the preferred vendor programs back to us. There were too many, I think, too many for them to deal with.
All right, good afternoon. All right, good afternoon, yeah. All right, my name is Sebastian Evers. I'm with EverPro Restoration. A little bit about the company. We started in 2016, based out of Miami. And, 2017, Hurricane Irma hit. We have a lot of contacts in Naples, Bonita Springs, and Marco Island. So we obviously did that hurricane down South Florida. And then little by little, we started expanding up towards central and northern Florida. Now we cover pretty much anywhere Jacksonville down to Key Largo or even Key West, depending on, if there's flooding or whatnot. We take pride in helping homeowners and going in, we provide free inspections. We go in, we assess damages. Education is the biggest issue that I've personally seen throughout the process because people don't understand, what is covered, what is not covered. Not that, that's our expertise, but, we speak based off of the damages that we see inside the property. So we have in our booth, we have a couple different tools that we use to detect moisture. And you can't imagine the amount of times that we get to a house and a homeowner's like, oh, well, the adjuster from the insurance company came and, they looked around, they didn't see any moisture. So then they said, the house is good. 2 days later, then you start seeing staining, then it gets darker and darker, and then all of a sudden it's black, and then now, the homeowner's getting sick, and then now that's when we come in, and, now it's that back and forth with, our documentation to the insurance company as to, why they didn't see that. They don't provide the proper tools to detect moisture. They just walk in, look around quickly when they have, 20, 30 files to get to or properties to get to, one day. They're not taking their time to actually service each client. They're just going in and out because they're getting paid by estimate. Another thing that we ran across is a lot of these, independent adjusters the insurance company hires after these storms. Obviously, you have upwards of 700,000 claims that get all called in 2 days. Insurance companies do not have 700,000 employees qualified to go to every single house the following day. What they do is they bring in guys from Michigan, Mississippi, all types of places to go and assess losses when they've never they don't know what a hurricane claim is. This is the first time that they're seeing it. So they don't really know what to look for and what not to look for. They just look around anything that has to do with roofing because they're used to, pipe leaks and, the regular day-to-day claims. For us, we provide services from roof tarping, We do shrink wrapping, which is the white plastic that goes on the roofs. We do, the water mitigation. We dry the structure out after the storm. And later down the line, we're getting a lot of calls for mold concerns. When we go and, do an inspection, the homeowners are getting sick. They're not feeling well. Whenever they get home, they're dizzy. They can't sleep well at night, So then that's where a company like AQA would come in. They're the professionals at assessing, doing mold air quality assessment and, mold assessment. Once they do their work, we work hand in hand with companies, different assessment companies. They provide a written protocol on everything they found depending on the levels and the type of mold. And that's what we use as remediators to be able to go in there and actually remove all the mold. So our process is a little, it takes some time to do it properly, and then, they come back and test after we're done with the work before we remove the equipment in order to make sure that the house is 100% safe to live in. If for any reason it's not, then that means, we have to go back and, keep on cleaning and removing more drywall or building material in order to get that property back to a livable condition. As far as roof tarping, we work, a lot of clients call us like, hey, another company put on our tarp and insurance company's requesting an inspection, but we don't have anybody to remove the tarp for the inspection. That's a service that, a lot of companies come in after a storm, they'll put up tarps, they'll, charge their money, and then they just disappear. We're pretty much A to Z. We have clients that, call us, say, hey, the roofing company is ready to install the roof. Can you guys come remove the tarp that you guys placed? That's a service that we offer, free of charge wherever you're at. We go in, remove everything, and make sure that the whole area is good enough for the roofer to start doing, their work. A lot of clients also ask, hey, can we still get you guys to do an inspection if, we already signed with a public adjuster? We're all independent, we handle different phases of the process, but we all work together because all the documentation, the engineer's documentation, the roofing documentation, the documentation that we use is what, public adjusters, attorneys use to bring the whole case together. It's like a criminal case. All the evidence brought together to present why they are owed what, the estimate is. So we work hand in hand with adjusters, with attorneys, offering all types of services. And we pretty much work hand in hand, and we as a company, we're pretty big on documenting with moisture meters and with infrared cameras. Before it got to the point that we were just using the moisture meters. And then insurance companies, well, why aren't you using an infrared camera? And then we started using an infrared camera, and why aren't you using a moisture meter? So now we use both, and they can't question as to was that area really, wet or not, because we have all the documentation.
My name is Eli Goins. I'm a public adjuster, and I'm one of the owners of Ocean Point Claims. Some people may not know what a public adjuster is. What is a public adjuster? I'll start by saying you can tell that everybody on this panel has the homeowner's interest in mind, and that's what a public adjuster is. Insurance companies have adjusters that represent their best interest. We represent yours. They come in and do an investigation, or so they call it. We come in and with all of the various vendors, such as you have up here on the panel, we all investigate the loss together, put together a proper file to get the homeowner properly indemnified as though it was the day before the storm. So what we've been seeing a lot is exactly what Candace referred to, is the behavior of the adjusters on this storm is absolutely crazy. I'm almost 20 years in this industry. I was many years, 11 years on the carrier side. I never thought I would see it like this. I thought it was bad in 2015 when I flipped my license. It's really bad now, and they are emboldened by the law changes recently. If we had Hurricane Ian tomorrow, it's really sad. It's not going to be the same conversation as it is now. You don't have the same options that you do now because the statute wasn't made retroactive. So, what's that? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So one of the stories I want to hype up AQA here real quick, and thank you for this. One of the stories I have recently with one of my clients is about 2 miles from here. It's a 1959 home, little concrete home, and it was flattened, all 4 walls, just like a house of cards, folded in. You could walk across the front yard and step up on the roof. The insurance company for the wind came out and said, it's flood. The homeowner doesn't have flood insurance, so they thought, well, we're just going to blame it on flood. We're going to skate. And they did. They denied it. Common sense tells you that the wind got there before the flood, and there has to be some, every time, and there has to be some sort of wind damage. Well, just like Candace said, question everything. Everything. The denial letter opened up the door for the investigation to start. Through AQA's analysis, they were able to determine that only 1 foot of water entered this home when the insurance company said there was over 8. There was no sand in the gutters. Again, the roof was on the ground. There was no evidence of any flood. I brought AQA in there, and they were able to look at the local buoy data and determine that there was only 1 foot of water in the house. There's no way that would have knocked it down. Now we have an offer on the table, thanks to their report. And that's why it's a good idea to hire somebody like us up here, because we all surround ourselves with knowledgeable people, and those people all have your interest in mind. So if you want us to take a look at your claim, come see Sarah in the back. We offer free inspections. And there we go. That's it.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Staying awake? Are you guys taking notes? Before I get started, I want to just give a quick round of applause to my colleagues in the industry that they've filled you guys up with a lot of information. So let's give them a round of applause. So my name is Millie, and I'm with Black Diamond Housing Services. We specialize in temporary relocations. And if some of you are homeowners, others are service providers, I feel like everybody has been in that place where either the homeowner or yourself have been displaced at some point, and you don't know where to go. So we are the experts that specialize in finding relocations. There is a coverage in your policy called loss of use, and that is allocated for temporary relocations or any expenses post-loss. And so what we do is we bridge the financial gap, but also the difficulties of finding something that's like, kind, and quality. A lot of homeowners see $30,000, $40,000 of ALE, and they think that that's a lot of money. But let's be honest, in today's real estate market, it's not a lot when you're talking about 6-7 months of repairs, even a year. As you know, we were speaking on roofs, like material takes time and a lot of things are backed up. So all of these details matter, and you need an expert that can specialize in that and identify on how to break up that budget so that it lasts you the longest. And so that's what we focus in. I've worked with several of the experts on the panel and have helped them nationwide. We are a Florida-based company, but we do work nationwide. We've worked in Louisiana, Texas during ice freeze, and we have over 5,000 RVs ready to be mobilized at any given point. We also have Airbnbs and VRBOs. The difference is we do not go directly to through these third parties so that we don't incur costs. We deal directly with the owners of the properties, and we have negotiated pricing. So all of that really matters so that your homeowners or you as the homeowner are housed for an adequate time. We have a table back there. I'm here with my colleague Ann, and we're happy to answer any questions. And also, we would love to connect with the service providers that are here, because it is important to have resources in the back of your pocket. And so the most important thing that we all focus in is making sure that the homeowner is safe throughout the process. And we're here to make that, you know, as peaceful and as easy as possible for all of you. And if you guys have any questions, we're back there. So thank you for your time.